Thought I'd do a quick review of the Alps Commander external frame pack, which is not to be confused with the Alps Commander X, which is the higher end pack. I'm talking about the one that's the external frame. I have used this pack for an overnighter in mid-November. I have used it for another winter overnight backpacking trip in mid-January, and another winter backpacking trip for 2.5 days in the middle of February. And the way this coronavirus thing is looking, doesn't look like I'm going to be putting any more field time into this pack. So here are my thoughts on this pack as of the current date. I think I'll just give this as a list of pros and cons and modifications that I've done or plan on doing with this pack. First, the pros. This thing is affordable at about anywhere between $130 and $160. This is an affordable frame pack. It is a spacious pack. It is a large pack, and you're not going to run out of room in this backpack. Offhand, I don't think there's too many packs that are as spacious as this one. Another pro is that when you strip it down, and I'll get into that later, it's actually fairly light. It doubles as a freighter frame, so you can take the pack bag off and put on these lashing straps in a meat shelf, and you can use this thing as a dedicated freighter frame pack to haul out elk or deer or what have you. Another pro is that it can carry both a sidearm and a long gun. And offhand, there's not too many packs out there that will allow you to do that. Now the cons. This pack, I can tell you right now, is not very durable. I've already got some stitching that is starting to tear on the inside of the pack, and on the outside of the pack, I think it was my Ruger 1022, actually starting to wear a hole on the waist pad section that connects to the frame. Thankfully, the waist pad and shoulder straps you can buy separately from Alps, so you can maintain this pack, but nonetheless, it is not very durable. Load balancing when going downhill sucks. I think this is primarily due to the fact that the way this thing carries a long gun, it is on one side of the pack and not in the middle. So what happens is, as you're going downhill, the pack's weight shifts forward, and it will canter to the direction that you have your long gun on. I think it's on the left-hand side, if I remember correctly. But what will happen is most of the weight when going downhill, if you have a long gun on it, will shift to one shoulder or the other, and it sucks. Another con is there's a bar at the top of the pack that you basically bang the back of your head on, which is annoying, but we can remove that, thankfully. And another con is the cotter pins. It comes with both cotter pins and slip rings for the clevis pins in this pack. And the cotter pins are designed to make it easier to get the pack off, so you can put the lashing straps on and turn it into a freighter frame. The problem with these cotter pins, though, is that it rotates the pins. The clevis pins will rotate around, and you might actually end up having some of these cotter pins stick you a little bit. And I have actually had one fall out and the clevis pin come out of the pack during my last 2.5 day backpacking trip. I found the pin, the clevis pin, and the cotter pin, but that's something that I won't forget. So unless you plan on putting the lashing straps on, I would just say use a slip ring on the clevis pins. You can modify it a little bit to improve on the situation. First thing I would do is just strip everything down. Strip off the meat shelf, the lashing straps, try to lighten that thing up, and I'd also go ahead and remove the top bar on the frame. And after you remove the top bar, use some electrical tape and just tape the openings of the frame so you don't get mud or dirt or whatever down into it. I'd also electrical tape the slip rings on the clevis pins just so it's not to reduce the rattle. Another thing I would suggest, and one thing that I'm going to do, is put some duct tape on the waist pad where the long gun rubs to reduce wear and tear on the waist pad. Overall, it's not the greatest backpack in the world, but it's affordable and it does the job. I have already thought very seriously about replacing it, and if it were not for current events, I think I would have replaced it. But again, it does a job, and I'm gonna make it work for now, assuming I can ever get out of the house. I think my next video, I'm probably going to either talk about gun panic buying purchases that one probably should be making if they haven't already, or my thoughts on improving home security in the midst of this pandemic. But for now, that's all I got. Have a good one.